Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. I hope everybody had a great start to the new year. I feel like I haven't talked much with you since last year, or like for about a month now. I've been a little quiet in December. I've been busy, obviously, but yeah, just the month of December, I posted about this on Instagram, and I felt like I just needed to sort of like not be so active on social media and maybe just like kind of chill a little bit and go a little slow with my journal production. I know that this doesn't match what I'm saying because this is like a lot of journals, but this is over the period of about a month, and I just kind of slowly worked on all of these at a really leisurely pace, more leisurely than I usually do. And I really enjoyed the month of December, just hanging out with family and neighbors and friends, and just spending a lot of quality time with my daughter and just being more present for the holidays, just kind of physically and mentally present in my household. And so just kind of took a little bit of a step back from Penny and Rose just for the month of December. So now I'm back, and I've been really looking forward to this shop update. As I said, and as you can see, I've made quite a many journals, and rather than doing individual videos for each one, I'm just gonna put them all into one, and I'm gonna try to make this not super boring and long. So I think we'll just go through each one sort of, not quickly, but not page by page. As you can see from here, there's so many different elements and so many beautiful things to look at. I mean, there's no shortage of texture and beauty and vintage papers and ephemera. If you've been following me for a while, you kind of know my style and the type of things that I include in my journals, and the things that I really love. And so I think that the way that I'm going to show you these here is enough for you to know just how special each and every one is, if that makes any sense. So I hope that explanation kind of, you understand what I mean. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And I know this looks like a big jumbly mess, and I wish I could kind of lift my camera up a little higher, but my tripod won't let me, just to kind of give you a bigger overview. This is like spanning over my little filming, I have like a little filming backdrop you may have seen in my Instagram stories, and it's like even bigger than that. So, okay, let's get started. I'm gonna go ahead and start with these three. These are sort of like the lighter colored ones in the family, so they're not necessarily the same or coordinate, but they just are lighter. The two on the far right, so that one and the one in the middle, they are sort of Victorian inspired, so I'm going to put those off to the side and start with this one first. And this one, I'm going to call this one sort of like folksy, I feel like, due to this beautiful postcard that I'm going to pull out from the belly band on the cover and show you. And then I've also made this really large tag with some digital wallpaper from Ruby and Pearl and some other papers and textile things. And that's just to go inside of the belly band and just add more texture and pretty things to the cover. And that applique there, I was just pointing out that it's beaded, so it's got tiny little pearls, but it didn't seem like they were sewn on all that secure. So just be careful with this journal. Perhaps you want to keep it in your traveler's notebook cover just to make sure those little beads don't pop off. So here inside the front cover, there's just a couple of really cool pieces of ephemera tucked into this little pocket. And it's kind of a double pocket because that's another little tuck spot there. And there's just some vintage cards tucked into that pocket, and a really pretty little wax seal of two birds. And then some more vintage pieces there. The one in the back is a really cool French piece in really nice condition, and the letters on it are embossed. So I've used children's book pages, digital wallpapers, and hand-dyed papers, vintage ledger, botanical pages. Those are pretty much the types of pages that are in most of the journals. So you will see some journaling cards and handmade tags and other various pieces of ephemera throughout all of the journals to sort of help you along with your journaling as usual. And don't forget to look inside all of the pockets because there are little treasures inside. Here I'm just showing you that this is a frame, so you can take this photo out and put a different one in. This is a rather large photo, so it's a little bit of a tight squeeze, but you can put your own photo in there. So I've made several collaged wallpaper tags. So there's just a variety of papers, and a lot of them are authentic vintage wallpapers. So there might be some digital elements, but throughout these journals, you're going to see a lot of authentic wallpaper scraps and things that I've used to make some really, really pretty tags. So that was the end of the first one, and I really hope this video doesn't end up being too long, but I think it is going to be because there's 8 journals, so perhaps you can try to skip ahead to review the ones that you are most interested in or the ones you like, or stick with me for the long haul. So moving on to the Victorian inspired ones. This one here has a large pocket on the front, and I've just done like a lot of layering to that pocket, so there's a lot of different elements and appliques, and this is a really fun one. I just love the colors on this one. I think this one and the next one I'm going to show you are my absolute favorite from the whole collection or update. This view here is something I never get tired of looking at. I think I've looked at this journal 1,000 times. It's like all of my favorite things in one. The imagery and the little Victorian calling card with roses and the rose wax seal. There's a really pretty photograph here. Look at this lady. She's like regal. And then just some more ephemera back here. This is just, to me, like all the colors that I love, and sort of like the opulence and like fanciness that I love, all right here in the beginning of this journal. I love this tag so much. I wish I could duplicate it. It's just all my little things, little Victorian people and some Dresden trim. And then this is a really large pocket here on the front with a made from a really gorgeous printable I found on Etsy, and a greeting card that you can use to journal on the inside, or maybe cut up some of the little floral pieces there and use in your creative journaling. So the tag just goes back into that belly band there, and this tag has a really pretty pink satin sort of tie at the top. And another tag here. This one has gold gilding and vintage wallpaper. No digitals on here. This is all authentic, and some William Morris washi tape. So just a fun, pretty tag that I tried to make look grungy, but also with lots of gold. This journal has a lot of little brass charms, so I think there's maybe 1 or 2 little brass keys and brass roses, and there might be a star charm in this one too. And so this one has a really cool policy envelope. I just passed it, darn it. I wish I would have shown it, but it has a policy envelope that I made that is really pretty, with some printables from Paper Daisy journals. And there's just some journaling cards tucked back here, and some Victorian stickers, tickets, postcards. And here I just want to show you these little angels. That's actually a really large envelope. So I hope that the person who this journal gets rehomed to loves little cherubs and Victorian inspiration as much as I do. So I decided to insert a little clip here of the policy envelope because I just couldn't go so quickly past that. So I just wanted to quickly show you that the beautiful paper that I used. This is also a printable from Ruby and Pearl, so you can journal on the back of that or cut part of that out. There's a policy envelope, and you can put your own precious ephemera in there. I love making policy envelopes. They're my favorite type of envelope. I use vintage brads for the brads on the front, and yeah. I just wanted to go over that really quick. And also this piece here, this is some handmade ribbon work trim. So really beautiful colors and a really cool handmade piece. Okay, before I end this flip through of this journal, I just wanted to kind of go over this really pretty little tag here in a little closer of a look. This is one of my favorites. It's sort of a journaling card / tag, but with one of my favorite wallpapers and a little angel. This journal here is the largest of the bunch. This one is in just under an A5. When I looked up the dimensions of what an A5 is, it seems to be that it's just under that. It has a long length of sari, multicolored sari ribbon around it as a closure. I think it wraps around twice, and then there's a little Denizen key tag with a wax seal, which most of them have, and then this one has a brass skeleton key. Again, this one has a pocket on the front like the other one does, and there's just some cute little things tucked inside, a authentic Denizen tag, and I like how that yellow kind of pops out on the cover of this journal. And then my little brass nameplate, and the base fabric is that gorgeous, gorgeous rose blue fabric. And there's a little side view. So here's the goodies that are in the front, and oh, here's just a little piece of gold trim that I have that I added to the front, and a French eyelet. This one has a lot of different sort of textures and textiles on the front. But here's the paper goodies that are tucked in the pocket. So opening this one up, this journal is the one with the feathers. So you may have seen this on my Instagram. I've posted it a couple of times, and yeah, this one has the large feathers. And then this wallpaper here, this is the same wallpaper that from the other journal with the cherub tag. So just a different section of that wallpaper, and then some other ephemera bits tucked in here. This is a page that I turned into a double pocket, and I included a little journaling card that I designed. I hope to have this in my shop sometime soon, and this is just some other little ephemera. This journal has some really fun pages inside. This one here is actually a photo envelope, like when you get your photos developed and they put them in a special envelope. That was what that is. Some French ledger, some really gorgeous digital pages. This is a tag that I made with authentic wallpapers and book pages, and some other various ephemera tucked in here to this little top tuck spot. This is a digital page from Sheena, and I just placed this little mini photograph here in some gold photo corners. And that's some wallpaper from my collection that will be coming soon as well. Some more little spinny things with a vintage brad, and this is one of my favorite tags. So just some gorgeous French wallpaper there that's sort of embossed, so lots of texture on that tag, and charms, little keys and stars. And then this is a really pretty vintage charm, and I thought it went well with this page here. That page looks like out of a fairy tale to me. I think this was from my book about romantic English gardens, I am pretty sure. This pocket is a digital printable of something that I designed as well, and there's just some other printables and more authentic wallpaper and a calling card and other little authentic ephemera bits here in this whole scene. Here's another sort of grungy journaling card with authentic French wallpaper and some embossed paper from Rose Hill Paper Cottage. This journal just feels so magical to me. This is like all of the things that I love. If I could create a journal for myself, it would probably look a lot like this. I love this one so much. Here's another tag in a belly band that I made from a playing card. There's some stickers. Very Victorian and French inspired. And then some a French flashcard is there on the right, and there's a French sort of receipt or letterhead that I printed on onion skin paper there behind the flashcard. I hope you enjoyed this journal in particular, because it really is my favorite one, and I feel very connected to this one. Moving on to the next set of 3. So we have these 3 here, and I just kind of grouped them together because the common color on each of these seems to be purple. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this one here. This one is covered with a beautiful rusty colored corduroy. So it's a vintage or thrifted corduroy fabric that I found. And on the cover, you'll see lots of different types of textiles that I sort of collaged and trims and things. So there's like a pink fringe trim and various different gold trims. There's a large pocket on the front, just like some of the other journals I showed. And this one has a railroad tag and a little rose card. So you can see the trims there. And that's a really nice gold rope trim. I love that one as sort of like a border trim. So that little pocket on the front is part of like a European, I think it was like a table runner type thing. It was a really large textile that looked like it would go atop a table or a dresser. So I just cut that out. And then in this little photo frame here, you can remove the photo. And then I also put a printable French tag. Now this one is not from my French tag collection, but I do have a digital tag collection in my shop if you want to check it out. And then this is an airmail envelope. I like using these little envelopes in the front, and then I create a little pocket on the inside. And in here is just some little journaling cards. And this is an authentic photograph that I had. It was like a little strip of this man in different poses. And I just love him. That's a little journaling card I designed from some images from the Graphics Fairy, and a library card, and this is a printable from Sheena. So this one, again, like all the other journals, has some little vintage wallpaper tags with authentic wallpaper, and you can see just kind of how grungy that little tag was because the paper is so old. And this has just kind of a variety of little tuck spots here behind this greeting card, and you can open up the greeting card too and journal on the inside. And then there's just a pocket with some other ephemera and a little tag. And that top loading pocket has some French wallpaper covering it. So this page here is a digital wallpaper that I will be offering soon in my shop. Once again, as soon as I kind of coordinate it with a few other wallpapers to make a set. And then this is a really large journaling card. You can do a lot of writing on the back of this one, and that's some authentic wallpaper as well. And I just really love the way that came together with that little washi tape sticker of that little child there at the bottom. And then more tags. So lots of journaling space and tags in these. They do feel quite chunky, and some of them seem like they're kind of hard to close. So, you know, when you use them and you start adding your own things, perhaps you want to remove some of these things. These are just items to get you started or get you inspired to do your journaling. So, you know, remove them, use them in other journals. It's up to you what you want to do with them, but just so you know, if you find that it's very chunky, take stuff out. Here you may have seen a photograph of this on my Instagram. This is another large journaling card that I just decorated with some fabrics and a vintage brass button. And this little, those are some really cute little washi stamps. But then I did a little, sort of like a little journaling card from a vintage, very grungy Flinch playing card. And I just put a little real dried rose onto that. And then just some more vintage ephemera throughout. This is a really old telegram, so be gentle when folding and unfolding. Something like this is I would use, you know, probably for collage. So, you know, if you're wondering like how does one use all of this, these old papers and ephemera that are included in junk journals, like what is it for? It's for art. It's for you to use. It's for you to put into your journals and find a new use for them. They're old papers that otherwise would have been forgotten or thrown away, and they were preserved for a reason. And so now, us being the new owners of them, we have the chance to give them a new life and create art with them. So cut out the letters, cut out the sentiments, use the blank spaces for journaling. There's so many things that you can do with vintage ephemera, and I think that's something that I was confused about for a long time when I first entered the junk journal world. Here's another page that is a preview of some vintage wallpaper that'll be available in my shop sometime soon. And then here's some more vintage ephemera. The next one here, this one is a railroad ephemera, sort of like a bill, I believe. And just really cool. I love the way that they used to clip things together with an actual pin, because they probably didn't have paper clips back then. So they just put like a little needle pin through papers. This is just a little sort of a portion of an envelope that I had. It was kind of cut off like this, and so I decided to use it as a little floating pocket, and I just put a variety of little ephemera things inside. So have fun discovering those little goodies in there. Moving on to this very bright colored one. This one, on my website, on the listing, you'll see it's called Pink and Teal, but there's a lot more colors than just pink and teal. It's purple, it's yellows, golds, coral, but I do think they all flow nicely together. And this one just has a little butterfly wax seal on a Denison key tag for the closure. So just a variety of textiles on the front. That's a French eyelet, the purple eyelet on the bottom, and some lace and some hand-dyed teal velvet. And then right here you can kind of see there's a lot of layering underneath there with some laces and things. And this yellowy gold trim is a really beautiful woven trim that I got from a seller in Belgium. And I'm gonna show it to you here in just a second so you can see it a little closer. And then I'm just showing you the charms that are on this one here. So there's tabs and ruffles and charms, lots of textiles going on in this one. So here's that trim. Isn't that just so pretty? I only have this small little length of it and it's just so pretty. So you've probably also seen this one previewed on my Instagram. Everybody really loved the colors of this one. I love that hot pink wax seal. I think that's a really unique color and just kind of pops this whole spread. So there's some more goodies inside of this pocket. one of my favorite little beautiful playing cards, and another wallpaper tag. So the reason why I make my wallpaper tags kind of like this, where it's like a strip of the wallpaper and then a strip of something else, is because right now I'm using up a lot of my strips from the end of the wallpaper, like where the page meets the book. There's a lot of strips there that I have when I took apart my wallpaper book, and so I'm just using those for tags. And so I use a sort of script paper or other contrasting paper to cover up the rest of the tag. So I do a lot of like vertical style tags with wallpaper and other papers. So this is an airmail envelope that I've turned into a double pocket, and there's some more tags in here. This one has a P&R stamp for my name, Penny and Rose, and then a Language of Flowers postcard. I don't know if you're familiar with these, but these are really, really pretty postcards, and they have sentiments created with the flowers. So the flowers are words. And yeah, and I just have another wallpaper tag there. So lots and lots of authentic wallpaper in a lot of these journals, and lots of digitals from Paper Daisy journals. That's Kylie, Heather at Ruby and Pearl, and then Sheena from Luna Rosu. I think those are the main people's printables that I've used, and I'll put all their information in the description box so that you can use them too. So here's another one of my gold metallic postcards, which is really pretty. And then I've included a wallpaper sample just behind there. And this one has some sort of gold accents if you look at it in the light. So this pink avocado dyed page here, it has a rip on it, and so I just placed this little paper scrap with washi over the rip, and it's removable, so you can cover the rip however you like. You can get creative and collage something over that, but I just put a little paper there to sort of cover it and let you know that there's something under there. So here's just a little overview, closer look at the pink and teal journal. I just love this opening page. But lots of really beautiful papers and grungy things and old things and new things inside. This one, when you look for it on my website, it will be called Lilac and Moss, and I just kind of came up with that name because of the colors that you see on the front there. And this one here is a little different than the others. This one is relatively unembellished. So this one is, I would say, largely blank. There are vintage ephemera pieces scattered through, but not many. And there are handmade collage tags throughout, but not many. So it's, while there are some pieces in here to give you some inspiration, it is primarily, I would say, blank. So this one is for someone who doesn't want all of the frilly stuff, maybe just a couple of key pieces here and there, and someone who likes a lot of pockets. So, and then just beautiful papers to use for your journaling. So this one is not as chunky, and this one can be chunked up quite a bit because there's not as much stuff inside of this one as the others, but yet still has a lot of the elements that the others do with the types of papers that are inside. So I hope that you enjoy this one. This one had a twin, and she actually sold, and I was told that the person gave it as a gift, and the recipient was very happy with her journal. So I haven't made many of these sort of more blank journals, so I hope you like it. These two are the last of the bunch. So these two are sort of like the darker toned journals of the whole collection or shop update. They are more reds and blues and just kind of, I think just more of a darker vintage feel. So one is a standard size. I'm going to start with that one. And so that's this one here, and it's just wrapped with some polka dot sari ribbon and another Denison tag. I think there's only like one or two that don't have the Denison tag, just because I chose a different type of closure. And this one, the cover is mostly like Indian sari trims and things. There's a little close-up of the tag. But yeah, so this is mostly Indian sari trims, so not necessarily vintage, but there are some vintage, small vintage textiles and some hand-dyed ones down there towards the bottom. So this one you might have seen on my Instagram. I did this tag and actually made a video of how I made this tag using all items from Tremblay's paper shop. So there's that tag there, and then this is just like a little double pocket, so there's a mini pocket there and then a larger pocket right there. And so there's that tag that I made with items from Tremblay's paper shop. And then here's another little pocket of just various vintage ephemera. So this here is a little vintage needle case, and I believe Jenny Mae June, I'm sure you know of her, I believe she gave this to me a long time ago, and if it wasn't her, I don't recall who it was, but I want to say that she sent it to me in Happy Mail. It actually has quite a few needles in it, so you can actually use them. And then that page there is just a printable from the Graphics Fairy, I believe the premium site, and I backed it with another printable from the Graphics Fairy. So this page here on the right, that is actually some vintage wallpaper, and it was strong enough for me to use to actually bind into the journal as a page. So kind of cool. You get to write on the back of the vintage wallpaper, or you could maybe like slice or rip it out of there and use it in your projects. And then here's just a couple little vintage things, and that floral is a digital printable. There's a letter inside of this airmail envelope. Here's a little handmade tag and another letter, and that one's written on like a hotel letterhead, which is like onion skin, and then there was a little Victorian calling card there. And this is some more printables and some authentic ephemera. And this is like a textile sampler. So this is from some sort of like little French fabric sampler book. And that is a little mini license plate charm, and you've seen it on a couple of the other journals that I showed. So here I've let go of one of my favorite postcards, and believe me when I say that, I know I say that often, and that's because it's true. When I say I've included something from my personal collection, it really means that it's from my personal collection. When I sort of accumulate ephemera, I keep some, you know, in my own boxes for me to look at and enjoy, and then I separate, you know, the rest of it out for what I'm going to use in my art. And so sometimes I dip into my own personal collection just because, of course, I want to keep the things that I find most interesting or most beautiful. And so at times I do genuinely share things that I've kept from my personal collection. So that's what I mean by that. So here we have a Kylie sized one. And I think I forgot to mention in most of the journals what size they are, but for the most part, they're all Kylie size. And then there's one standard, and then the one that was just about an A5. So this one, thank you so much, all of you, for your comments on this one. I posted this one, I think yesterday or the day before, and a lot of you just really like the dark color combos on this one. So, so thanks. I love this one too. This is this one has like the vintage millinery flower or leaves that I've used previously in another journal. And this one has a lot of strings coming out from the ends, so kind of grungy. And then there's that metallic trim piece that was on the front. That's like a rare, you know, textile bit that I happen to have. So on the inside of this one, there's no big pocket, but I did put a little glassine envelope with some little ephemera bits. And then again, my little airmail first page pocket thingy. And, you know, I'm not going to go through each and every single ephemera piece there, but some of it's handmade, some of it is vintage. And then a beautiful digital printable. So some more vintage things. And then here, I just want to show you that this is going to be another one of my digital wallpapers that I'm going to be offering. And I know people keep asking me about them. I'm trying, guys, I'm trying. I just want to get this restock out, and then I will get to work on my computer working on the rest of my digitals. Here's some more little ephemera pieces. This is an original telegram. So it's a holiday telegram, an Easter telegram in its original cover, which I don't find often. So if you do, that's great, but I don't see those often. So I thought that was really cool to include. And then there's a little charm there. This is a printable I created from some graphics fairy images. And this is from a French school notebook. So just a page from there. And then that pocket is from a printable from Ruby and Pearl. And there's a little belly band across the top of the pocket. So as you may have noticed throughout these journals, like I kind of like to coordinate colors, but I'm not trying to be matchy-matchy. It's more, I just like to play with certain colors and certain colors together. And then once I choose those colors, I kind of vary the shades of those colors just because I just think it makes it really interesting to look at. So while there may be like a main color scheme within some of the journals, it's like I like to do like different shades, if that makes sense. So just playing with color has been the funnest thing for me, and I love doing that. This is one of my favorite digital printables. This is from Kylie at Paper Daisy. Just gorgeous digital printables that she has, and I think they're like of fabrics that she has. So they're like a digital image of an antique fabric, if I remember correctly. And then just some more postcards and digital journaling cards and vintage flashcards and things. And more little goodies tucked in here. So these are, as you can see, pretty full of things to use in your journaling. Almost every single one of these journals is as packed as I could get it. This is like a French book page, but it's on, I want to say, almost like parchment paper, and the letters are embossed onto the page. There's some little digital goodies inside of that wallpaper envelope. think we're coming towards the end. Okay guys, that concludes today's show and tell of all of these 8 journals. This is my shop update. So you know, if you want to check out any of these journals, they're going to be available on my website. So when this video comes out, these will already be available on the site for purchase. So let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. I would love to hear from you. I would love to know your thoughts, your feedback. Especially maybe let me know what you think of this longer video. Don't worry, you won't hurt my feelings if you tell me it was like way too long and I should have cut it short. Just say that. Tell me in the comments so that I know, because it did feel very long and it was a lot of filming and editing for me. So let me know what you think, and once again, these will be available at the time that you're viewing this. So yeah, I will talk to you guys soon, and feel free to message me on Instagram, or of course you can reach out to me through my website if you have any questions for me, or if you want to see any of the journals more in detail. And yeah, all right, well thanks guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.